everyone, this is Sarah of the 𝗿𝗵𝗆𝗀𝘆𝗪.com and welcome to my kitchen once again. Today I would like to discuss with you the difference between raw milk yogurt and pasteurized yogurt. I get this question a lot, especially in the local food club that I participate in, where I get fresh local dairy from my farmer. He does offer unpasteurized fresh milk yogurt, and people are not really used to that. They don't understand about the differences between fresh unpasteurized yogurt and yogurt from the store. So I just thought I'd take a couple of minutes and show you the difference, talk a little bit about the difference. First of all, don't have much left. I've used most of it up, but I have the rest of a half a gallon of fresh unpasteurized yogurt from this last week that I just purchased. And as you can see, I'm pouring it into the dish, and it's more like a pudding. Look at the consistency of it. It's almost like a vanilla pudding to some extent, but it's definitely pourable. It's a drinkable style. And then if you look at the small cup of plain pasteurized yogurt that I got from the health food store, you can see that it's very different. Very different. Most of you are familiar with it. It's very scoopable. It's very thick. And you can see that the consistency is quite different. Very, very different. The taste is very similar. Definitely the raw yogurt tastes like yogurt. It's just a very different consistency. So let's talk a little bit about why you might want raw yogurt versus pasteurized yogurt. I know people who have trouble with pasteurized yogurt, have trouble digesting it. It still gives them intolerance issues, gas and bloating issues, who when they try raw yogurt do not have these problems. So let's talk about why that might be. Well, first of all, pasteurized yogurt, again, the milk before the yogurt is made is pasteurized. So the proteins would still be denatured, they would be damaged, and they are very allergenic when they become damaged. So unlike when you would heat fresh milk on the stove, you would gently heat it, but that's not what pasteurization is. Pasteurization is a very violent process, particularly as it's done today in these factories. It's not a vat pasteurization, which they used to do years ago. It's a much more violent process where the milk is brought to 161 degrees within a fraction of a second. So that damages the proteins in the milk. So even if you put in a yogurt culture after the milk is pasteurized and culture it back to life with a yogurt culture, the damaged milk proteins still are going to cause allergenic reactions in sensitive individuals. However, when you make yogurt without heating the milk, or heating the milk to less than 118 degrees, 118 degrees is the point at which enzymes begin to be destroyed, you do have a different consistency, but you don't have the damage to the proteins that occurs when you pasteurize the milk. So I would encourage you to try this, particularly if maybe you've been reading about raw milk and you've been wanting to try fresh milk from the farm, fresh from the cow, unpasteurized. You've been like, you know, I really want to try this, but you're having trouble getting yourself out of the mental paradigm because the government's been telling us for years that, oh, you can't eat this, it's going to kill you, it's going to make you sick, and you're having trouble grasping that. A great way to take a step in the right direction is to start with some raw yogurt, because if something is pathogen ridden, you're not going to be able to culture it very easily. So if something has cultured into a raw yogurt, you can feel more comfortable with that, perhaps, if you have never tried raw dairy before. It maybe can ease your mind a little bit as you make your way toward that choice of purchasing fresh from the farm raw dairy. Another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of people try raw cheeses. It's the same principle. You try maybe a raw cheese before you try raw milk. People do the same thing with yogurt in my local food club. A lot of times when people join who have never tried raw dairy before, they'll do the yogurt first. They'll do the yogurt for a few weeks and see how wonderful it is, how much better it makes them feel, and then maybe they'll try the raw milk at a later time. So I hope that this has given you some idea of the difference between raw yogurt and pasteurized yogurt from the store, and why the raw yogurt would be a better choice, why it would be easier on your digestion, why it would have more enzymes and more nutrition in there, because again, you still lose something in the pasteurization even when you culture it back with a yogurt culture. I hope this makes sense to you, and please email me or comment on the blog with any questions you may have on this short segment this week. And this is Sarah, the 𝗿𝗵𝗆𝘆𝘀𝑒conomist.com. I'm wishing you all the best in the kitchen.